Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Emily Ewing. Welcome to another video. I feel like every time I'm filming in this specific section of the kitchen, I'm always wearing this sweater. Or maybe it's just that I'm always wearing this sweater in general, I don't really know. But also, can you blame me because this is the best sweater that I own? So, just flip the back real quick, then the arms, and the other arm. A star. For this video, I originally wanted to do like a kitchen essentials video, you know, like things that every vegan should always have in their kitchen. And I asked you guys for suggestions on my Instagram, and I got a lot of really good answers, but it kind of made me want to do a more in-depth video than I originally was planning to do. So maybe expect something more in-depth coming later on. This video is gonna be my personal grocery essentials. So my personal things that I'm always buying. First of all, I usually don't go to just like one grocery store for all my groceries at once, or at least if I do, I kind of like regret it. I always like to go to like health food type places or like more very vegan friendly groceries like Sprouts or Trader Joe's or whatever. Obviously, you know, they have a lot of good vegan stuff and they have good produce, but neither of those stores can I really get like everything I need at. When it comes to like Trader Joe's, they're just a smaller store. They don't have everything. And then for Sprouts, they can be really expensive for a lot of things. For example, this is my favorite bread to get, and at Sprouts it was like $5.60 or something like that. At like Walmart or Target or whatever, it's only like $3 something. Walmart grocery or Aldi, those are my go-to places for like cheap things like grains and stuff like that. Let's frozen things, okay? Let's start with frozen things. I tried to put most of it like in the door here so that you could kind of see things. We got frozen veggies. Yeah, frozen veggies. I always like to have at least one bag of some sort of frozen veggies mix in the freezer. Sometimes you just run out of produce. It's nice to just have like a backup, basically. And also, like a lot of people pointed out when I asked for grocery essential things, that frozen vegetables tend to be a cheaper option, have less prep because they're usually already like cut up and peeled and whatever, and aren't necessarily any lower quality than fresh vegetables or less nutritious. So this is also good for like if you're living alone and you don't want to cook a whole thing of vegetables or like have to peel a bunch of vegetables, but you just want to add a serving of vegetables to your meal so you feel a little healthier and get some fiber in there. This can be a good option. I like to get something super versatile. This bag, for example, was from Aldi. Got broccoli, carrots, and cauliflower. And then not so much veggies, but like frozen protein type things. I always like to have some form of edamame in the freezer. I like having the ones in shell. It's a fun little appetizer to put out. You know, you don't know what to put out, so you can like just microwave these or steam them or whatever and toss them with something and eat it as like a movie snack or whatever. Sometimes if I'm eating a meal that doesn't have like hardly any protein or it's not filling enough, then I'll have this like on the side. I like to have the shelled version also sometimes, which is especially convenient because you can throw them into like whatever noodle dish you're making, whether it's like cold or hot. If you're making like a poke bowl, a stir fry, they're just like a really easy go-to protein if you have nothing else, and because they're frozen, you know, you can just always have them on hand. The other like protein thing that I was going to talk about is green peas. I know I always talk about soup, but these are great for soup. They don't have that much protein though, so I usually use them as more of like a combination with something else. They're not gonna like fill you up. You know, you're not gonna have like an entree of peas, obviously. If I want to put like some tofu in a soup or whatever, but I don't have enough tofu, or I don't want to put like too much tofu, then I like to put tofu and green peas. If you're making like a rice dish, like fried rice, or I'll put them into ramen. There's a lot of things you can use green peas for. Another kitchen essential that I wanted to talk about during this video that just so happens to be the sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much to Blue Land for sponsoring this video. Really appreciate it. I truly, genuinely, honestly, I'm so excited about this sponsor and so excited about having this in my life. Most of you guys know that I'm always trying to like reduce the amount of plastic that comes in and out of my life. You know, I'm trying to be more eco. I'm not perfect, obviously, but Blue Land is so cool because instead of having to buy several plastic bottles of cleaning products and hand soaps throughout the year, I can use, this is their cleaning essentials kit, where you get these Forever bottles and then you get their little tablets, tiny little tablets that come in compostable little wrappers. And all you have to do is just fill them up with warm to hot water, put the tablet in, let it dissolve, and then you're good to go. Spraying and, you know, washing, whatever. No more going to the store and paying for more and more plastic bottles and water when you could just buy the little tablets. It's all designed for use in the long run, which is really cool. And they look nice. They feel nice, they look nice, you know.
And of course their products are vegan and cruelty free. They're also made without ammonia, VOC, soya nut, chlorine bleach, parabens, and are EPA certified.
Another thing that I really appreciate about Blueland is that there's no single-use plastic in any of the components, whether that's the bottles or the packaging of the little tablets or the shipping. So if you want to get started with Blueland yourself, to get 20% off your first order, all you gotta do is click the link in the description. Thank you to Blueland for sponsoring this video and helping me reduce my plastic waste for 2022. And let's get back to the video. Not necessarily a frozen item, but something I always buy is tofu, obviously. Wouldn't be a vegan essentials video without it. Most of the time, if I don't have like plans for it already when I'm buying it, I usually just keep it in the freezer. So like when I come home and put it away, I put it away in the freezer. If you're gonna make like a stir fry with tofu, or if you want to put it in a soup, I tend to prefer it to be like pre-frozen and then defrosted. I like the texture better that way. It's really not necessary, but I just like it. This I'm not really keeping in the freezer because it's already this like high protein, super firm version. I feel like it's similar to like pre-frozen tofu anyways. Oh, and then I like to always have fake meat, faux meat, vegan meat in my freezer for those days when you just don't know what to make. I could just at least eat some chicken nuggets, you know, maybe some like carrots and ranch on the side for a child. For a little nostalgia. I got this bag at Grocery Outlet. It's like the big 2 pounds and 8 ounces bag for like $12. Seems expensive, but for how much you get, it's a good deal. I love Gardein. That's like my favorite meat substitute brand. Another thing is that I always have some frozen fruit in the freezer. I freeze my own bananas because they're so easy to freeze and they're so cheap to buy fresh, you know? I always try to freeze them in like a shallow but like wide container, or like a large amount of area. When you're gonna freeze the bananas, make sure they're initially not touching super much so that they'll freeze kind of like separately, and then they'll be easier to break apart when you want to throw them in a smoothie or whatever. I always like to have frozen berries. I prefer blueberries and cherries. Those are my favorites. They can be so expensive to buy, and as someone living alone, sometimes I don't go through them fast enough if I buy them fresh. These are not wild blueberries, but if I can find wild blueberries, I tend to prefer those because they're smaller. It's easier to defrost them if you just wanted to like throw them in like cereal even. There's also like other berries, but like for me, blackberries, any like berry mix, they always have like random seeds and stuff in it. Blueberries I can count on to not have seeds. And I like to throw them in oatmeal and stuff. The last thing about the freezer, something that I always buy because I go through it pretty well and I love it for everything, is sourdough bread. I love sourdough. I can't have like 2 loaves of bread at the same time because I won't go through them fast enough. Whole wheat kind of bread, I don't eat that often, but I do like to have it around. So I always keep it in the freezer. When I want to eat it, I just toast it. If I run out of this, but I want to make a sandwich, I still have that backup bread that I can just keep for a long amount of time. Next, if anyone ever asks what my favorite vegan milk options are, here they are right here. Definitely a Silk stan. I'm a Silk girl. I just feel like they have like overall the best quality milks, and I always tend to buy either oat or soy milk. I try to like alternate between the two. Actually, did I just buy a sweetened version? Damn it, I didn't realize that this one was sweetened, but I was gonna say I always prefer to buy unsweetened and unflavored milks because I can't always have like multiple milks open at the same time. As someone living alone, I want my milk to be versatile in case I want to like cook with it, in case I want to make something sweet with it like a smoothie or whatever. I can just add sweetener if I need to. And it's also good for reducing your sugar intake, obviously. And then for me, I like to have like a creamer around, and I prefer to the same way get like an unsweetened and like unflavored creamer. This one has like a little bit of sweetener, but I can't really tell. Like I used it to make like mashed potatoes and I couldn't tell. So as long as it doesn't have like a lot of sweetener, you can usually still like cook with it and stuff, and it's not weird. I don't always have so much milk right now. I just wanted to demonstrate for you the different things that I tend to buy. In the fridge, we got other fresh protein options. If you want like pre-made vegan deli slices, I would recommend these. Depending on where you go, they can be really affordable. They can be like $2 something or they can be like $4. And then tempeh. Right now I have like these flavored ones or marinated ones because they were on sale like 2 for something. Tempeh, it is soy, but it's like a fermented soy, so that's also good to have like fermented things in your diet sometimes, you know. Tempeh is not the cheapest option ever. That's why I wanted to show other things like the edamame and peas and tofu, and I'm gonna talk about other shelf-stable proteins, but I try to eat it like every once in a while to like diversify, and I also just like it for like sandwiches or wraps or something like that. Just like the milk, I don't usually buy like all of these at once, but I just wanted to be able to show you different things that I like to buy. Okay. For me, I don't buy vegan cheese too much, or at least I really try not to, because it can be expensive and obviously it's not like the most healthy food out there, but I look out for sales and stuff, and I have certain places where I try to go to get it cheaper. I'll talk about that more in the description if you care, what my like favorite go-to vegan cheeses are. Produce, let's back it up maybe. This is my fruit bowl right now. I honestly don't have much in my fruit bowl most of the time because a lot of my fruit consumption comes from like frozen fruit. I got some lemons and limes right now. I try to not buy the big bags of lemons and limes though because I just can't go through them enough by myself. Bananas, I tend to wait until they get like spotted before I freeze them because then they're sweeter. I don't usually eat them like fresh too often, but sometimes I like it in like cereal or granola. Greens, number 1, my go-to girly, spinach. It's my favorite for smoothies. I like that you can just like throw it in whatever, you know, whatever. Like, literally, I'll put spinach in like anything. I'll put it in ramen. I'll put it in a stir fry sometimes, in a sandwich. I'll put it in a wrap, put it in a smoothie. I'll put it in a soup. I'll put it in whatever. Another thing is you can freeze greens. A lot of the time, especially spinach, I feel like it's super easy to just freeze and then throw it in smoothies, throw it in soups, throw it in whatever. Sometimes I like to have arugula also. I feel like it's good for salad or like eating fresh on things like sandwiches or whatever, but it's not as versatile as spinach in my opinion because I don't like arugula like in a smoothie. And then I have some kale right now. Whenever I buy 2 greens at the same time, I just have to really watch them to make sure I'm going through them okay. And if I feel like one's going bad, then I just try to freeze it. Kale I feel like is pretty much as versatile as spinach, except just not as good in my opinion. I try to switch it up every once in a while so I'm not just eating spinach as my only green source, you know. Love mushrooms. Mushrooms, one of my favorite vegetables. Mushrooms are great in many things. My favorite is baby Bella mushrooms, but it doesn't really matter. They're all good. Mushrooms freeze well. It's better if you cut it up before you freeze it so that you can just kind of like throw it in whatever and it'll break apart a little easier. I'm someone who loves cucumbers for many things, for snacks, salads, sandwiches, or wraps or whatever. I like to get the mini ones because then I don't have like an open cucumber that's like getting slimy in the fridge. Instead I can just like have a whole cucumber at a time, you know, and finish it. I like to finish things. Got some green onions, which I have been growing myself, which has been going well. Great for cooking and also for like topping things with. But the green onions that I had growing, they went through some weather and things, so I definitely need to I think throw them out. Honestly, I'm really scared of them at this point. I'm better at growing green onions now, so I think these are gonna get a fresh good life. Growing your own green onions is really easy and cool, so I recommend it. And then you can just always have them for topping whatever. I love tomatoes, but again, for like sandwiches or whatever, I like to have smaller versions of tomatoes so that I can finish one whole tomato at a time. Love to see it. Campari tomatoes. Whole carrots, feel like they stay good for a very long time if they're like in whole form. And if you want to have them as snacks and stuff, they're really good if you like peel them and cut them and put them in a container with a little bit of water in there. Then they stay like especially crisp and juicy, and they're really good. I feel like I prefer them even more to these. Baby carrots I buy every once in a while for like a good snack, especially like if you need some fiber, if you feel, you know, need a little help getting the system going, baby carrots. Tried and true. Celery, I don't always buy. It's not my favorite vegetable and I don't go through it fast enough, but love it for soups. I like to cut up a bunch of it and freeze it so that I just have it ready for soups and I don't have to keep buying fresh celery and not using it all. I'll put it in like a bag so it's easy to break apart and just pour into the soup. Avocados, always getting avocados. Great for avocado toast, let me tell you. A cold rice bowl, sandwiches, and salads, and wraps, burrito bowl, guacamole. Broccoli, my personal favorite vegetable. You guys know what you can use broccoli for. I don't think I have to tell you. Another tip, I guess, for doubling your produce use is to save the stalks of them and peel them and then cut them up, throwing those into whatever, like a stir fry or a soup. And then also zucchini I buy sometimes. Not my favorite vegetable, but I like it in things such as soups. Sometimes stir fries, pasta dishes, hell yeah. Onions, I try to get like a red onion and a yellow onion so that I have the variety. And then sometimes I buy potatoes. A great thing to put in soups, a great thing to put in curries, a great thing to put it in stew. Now, what's in here? The lighting is just gonna suck over here and there's not that much I can do about it. Canned goods, first and foremost. Something that I always try to have is coconut milk. Just any unsweetened and full fat coconut milk. To make sure it's full fat, usually it's fine if it just doesn't say that it's light on it. So like right now, I actually have some light coconut milk. Every vegan will tell you that that's like a grocery essential or pantry essential to have. Coconut cream is a great alternative. You can make many things with it. You can even whip it and make whipped cream. A tip that I've figured out in the more recent months, I would always open a can of coconut milk just to use like a little bit of it in something, or like to use half of it, whatever, for like making mac and cheese or something. Then I would just put the rest of it in the fridge. I feel like half the time I would just forget about it and let it go bad and it would make me really upset to throw it out. But what I've figured out more recently is that if you have leftover coconut milk and you're not sure if you're going to use it in the next few days, you can freeze it in like an ice cube tray, such as this, preferably one that has a lid. Then you have cream cubes. That sounds really weird. You know, if you're making a smoothie, you could like throw some of those in the smoothie to make it like creamier, or a broth to make it creamier, like a soup broth, spicy ramen broth, coconut curry. Beans are great. I haven't been eating as much beans as usual lately. I don't know why. I need to get back on the bean bus. I got some pinto beans right now. Great northern beans right now. Great for soup. Pinto beans, great for basically anything. Black beans also great for anything. Chickpeas, everyone will tell you, are like one of the main vegan essentials. They're just really versatile. You know, you can make a lot of things with them. What I use them mainly for is like frying them up and putting them in like a salad or whatever, or a bowl. You know what I haven't made in a really long time is a chickpea salad. Why have I not made that recently? I don't know. It's just silly. But yeah, chickpea salad. Sandwiches. Why don't I make that anymore? I used to make that all the time. You guys probably got sick of hearing me talk about it. When you use chickpeas, you can save the liquid that is in the can and then use that for like an egg white substitute or making something like a meringue, or I know people use that as like an egg replacer in a lot of things. For me, I would never like make use of it though. I feel like I would always try to save the aquafaba liquid, and then it would just go bad because I don't bake that much. But I think I heard from someone that you can freeze it, like the coconut milk in ice cube tray, and then it works the same way after it's defrosted. But I'll have to double check on that before I post this video. I like to always have some long pasta noodles like linguine or spaghetti or angel hair for just like an easy meal. Spaghetti sauce and a noodle and some sort of protein. I like to get like meatless meatballs from like Trader Joe's or Aldi, which are pretty affordable. You can also use like TVP or whatever to make a meaty sauce. I also love to always have whatever these are called, short noodles. Those are long noodles, these are short noodles, you know, like macaroni or the shells. And this is, I don't know how to say that. I have no idea how to say that. These Trader Joe's pastas that are packaged like this are so good. But I always like to have these around for making soup. Yeah, I like to throw them into soup. And also when I want to make like a macaroni and cheese kind of thing. And I got my other bulk things. I got rice. I got other noodles like soba noodles. Lentils, another good protein. These aren't really like grocery essentials because I never buy them because I buy them in bulk and it feels like I never buy them. Lentils are also great for making curries, making soup. You can do a lot of things with lentils and they are very shelf stable. And very cheap. I really need to make lentil curries more, or a dal. Another shelf-stable protein, silken tofu, the shelf-stable version of tofu. It's really soft though, so you can't use it for everything that you would normally use like firm tofu for. It's used in a lot of like dessert type things. Some people even put it in their smoothies for like extra protein. I like to use it for ramen and soup. Miso soup, I have this like miso concentrate, so I could throw some of this in there for like a nice little snack or like side dish to a meal. Look at that, they got some silken tofu in there. The milk that you find in like the refrigerated section tend to be better, like have a better consistency, but I always like to have some pantry milk, like shelf-stable milks, for if I run out of the other milk and need milk. You know, you can't run out of milk. And then obviously you guys all know an essential for me, peanut butter. I love peanut butter. Goes in almost every breakfast that I eat. And then also, ever heard of peanut noodles? Ever heard of there's other things. As a snack with apples, I always like to have lots of different nuts and seeds available for myself for added protein and just like fillingness in any meal. So I have some sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds. I have some walnuts. That's basically it right now. I put them in a lot of like breakfasts. Like I love to put hemp seeds in my smoothies. I love to put walnuts in my oatmeal, especially in the morning. Putting like nuts and seeds into whatever you're eating, or like a nut butter or seed butter, can help you stay fuller longer because it adds that like fat and protein to your meal, but like healthy fat and protein, you know? I also like to add them to like salads. Hemp seeds and sunflower seeds are really good in salads. Avocado toast, seeds on as well. Nutritional yeast. Another thing that I don't like always buy, you know? I like to buy it more like in bulk usually because it's cheaper and I like to have a large amount of it for making certain things like mac and cheese or whatever, but they were out of it in the bulk section when I went to Sprouts. So I just got this one. If you don't know what it is, it's a very important vegan topping seasoning because it has a lot of B vitamins in it and it has like a nice cheesy flavor, savory cheesy flavor. So it's good on veggies, it's good in soups, pasta, but also it's like a base ingredient if you're gonna make vegan mac and cheese. And then this is my go-to bouillon. If you love to make soup like me, I think this is like a lot more efficient, especially if you're living alone or if you have limited space. It's annoying to have to always buy veggie broth, and also you're buying a lot of packaging and it's probably more expensive in the long run because you're paying for water, basically, like a lot of water. I like to just buy this thing of bouillon paste. It's also better than buying these individually packaged, but you can also add it into like whatever just to add some flavor, extra flavor to stews or curries. Last thing. This is the last thing. I'm not gonna show like a lot of condiments in this video, but some things like special vegan condiments that I buy regularly. This is my favorite vegan ranch. It's not cheap necessarily, but I just have to have ranch sometimes, you know, like for pizza. And then I always have vegan mayonnaise. I prefer to support the Vegenaise brand. It's a vegan brand. They're more eco. They have it in a glass container, and I think it's even like produced with solar power, but it is definitely a lot more expensive than this Hellmann's version. No, this is Best Foods. Sometimes if I'm going to make something for other people, like if I'm making like a thing of like pasta salad or whatever, I'll buy the cheaper one because I don't want to just like buy a big tub of like expensive vegan mayonnaise and then just like give it away to other people who aren't even vegan or whatever, so they don't even care. But I do alternate between these two. I just prefer the other one. And I like to pre-mix together sriracha mayo to always keep in the fridge in this little squirt thingy, so I can just squirt on whatever. And I guess that's it for this video. I hope this video wasn't super long. I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you subscribe, like this video if you liked the video. Check out the links below. I do stream on Thursdays at 11 a.m. PST on Twitch, usually Animal Crossing. And I got a new podcast that I started recently that I need to post the 3rd episode of soon. Love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you to Blue Land for sponsoring this video. Really appreciate it.